Hello and welcome. My name is Ricky, and in this video we will be exploring the Hydra tool for cracking usernames and passwords. Now, for practice purposes, we will be using the Metasploitable 2 virtual machine, which is purposely vulnerable system designed for security testing. The Metasploitable 2 is a virtual machine that can be downloaded and run on your local computer, and it contains many vulnerabilities that can be exploited for security testing purposes. Now let's take a closer look at Hydra and how it can be used to crack usernames and password. But before we begin, it is important to ensure that you have permission to test the security of the system you will be targeting. Failure to do so could result in severe consequences. Now, to download Metasploitable 2 virtual machine, you can simply Google it. Now, the first link that you will get, that is where you can download Metasploitable 2 machine. Also, you can go on Rapid7's website and it will give you a couple of links that are available where you can download Metasploitable 2 virtual machine. So we'll use Hydra to perform a brute force attack on a PHP login page, which is within Metasploitable virtual machine. Hydra is a powerful tool used in cybersecurity for penetration testing and vulnerability assessment, and can systematically attempt various login and passwords combination until the correct one is found. By using Hydra, we can identify potential vulnerabilities and take steps to improve security of the login page. Alright, so here is the command that we will be using to brute force username and password on the login page. While the command seems complex, we will break it down into smaller chunks to make it easier to understand what each part means and where to find the required information. Alright, so here's the breakdown of the command. This is the command that we are using to crack username and password. It starts with Hydra, which is of course the tool itself that we're using to crack the username and password. Next, we need to specify the files containing the list of usernames and password that Hydra will use to try and crack the password and username. Now, there are two methods for specifying username and passwords. The first method is the example that we are already using in this video, which is when we don't know the username and password and we want Hydra to find both username and password for us. So in this method, we have to specify the word list file path that contains a list of username and passwords. Minus capital L means we don't know the username, but we want Hydra to use a list of username that are stored on this file and try and log in with those username. Similarly, minus capital P means we don't know the password and we want Hydra to use list of passwords that are saved on password.txt file. Now, in the second method, if you already know either the username or password, we need to use flag as minus lowercase l for username and minus lowercase p for password. So for example, if you already know a password, which is password, we'll specify in the command by minus lowercase p, and we don't know the username, so we'll leave minus capital L as it is, and then we are specifying the file containing list of usernames. And we can use it the other way around. If you already know the username, we can specify the username here, and then we'll use minus capital P, and then we will specify the path here. Next, we have to specify the target IP address, which is in this case 12.12.12.128. Next, we have to specify the method that Hydra will use to send the login form data to the target website. Now, login form data, it contains username, password that we have entered onto the web on the login page. Now, get and post are two HTTP methods used to send data between a client and a server. Now you have to find out what method this HTTP or PHP page is using to send the data. Now in order to find that, we have to go to the main login page. Now if I right click here and go to inspect, you will see this page gives us the method it's using to send the data to the server. So in this case, the method is post. And this is what we are using here. HTTP -post -form. In case it's using get method, then we simply need to change it to get. Now here we have specified the URL of the login page on the target website. This is the form data that Hydra will use to try to log in to the target website. As I mentioned earlier, the form data which will be sent to the target website will contain username and password. Now in this example, because we don't know the username and password, so the way we specify that is with this _user _, and then password is _pass _. The user and pass are placeholders that will be replaced by the values from the username and password lists specified earlier. Now the word username and password in the command, they are very important because these are the string the web page is using to store username and password value. So if I go back to the login page again, I'll right click on here, go to inspect. So in these codes under form, you will see the input value, whatever username and password we will enter. The web page will store it in a string which is called username, and password will be stored in a string which is password. And this is what we have here, username and password. Now in case you are using it on a different website for testing the security and you find the string name is user and the password is pass, then we have to change those values here as well. So username will become user and password will become pass. Then we have failed, which is a text on the web page itself, and Hydra will look for this text in the response from the server to determine whether the login attempt was successful or not. So if I go back to the login page and if I enter username, just a random username test, and then password test as well, and if I hit enter or click login, you will notice that the error message that we're getting is login failed. So that failed word was taken from here because the Hydra will scan the whole page after it enters username and password to identify if failed word is included on the web page. If it does, it means the login was unsuccessful. So you have to look for a word which comes up after a wrong username and password has been used, and then that word we will specify here. Alright, let's run the command. So as you can see here in the output, Hydra has successfully found the username and password to log into this DVWA machine. So let's try that username and password. So it's admin and the password is password, and it worked. So that's all for today's video on using Hydra for username and password cracking. We've covered how to use Hydra for HTTP based web applications, but it can be used for other services besides HTTP. These services include FTP, SSH, Telnet, SMTP, etc. But remember, the techniques demonstrated in this video should only be used for ethical purposes and with proper authorization. Unauthorized access to computer system is illegal and immoral. And we hope you found this video informative and useful. If you have any question or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more content on cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in next video.